Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is Matt, one of the people of the Real Film Nerds Podcast. This week, episode number 330. Yes, that's 2 3s and a 0. That's a lot of frickin' podcasts. That's a lot of audio. But, you know, this week is an important one. It's a movie that didn't need to be made, but Mysterious Mike Talent is here to talk with us about it anyways. So, Mike, how are you this fine morning, afternoon, or evening?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good. I'm getting ready for the festivities of this birthday of our nation. So, no, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, it is not 4th of July yet in our recording world. By the time you're hearing this, it is past 4th of July. So I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July and you didn't light someone else's house on fire, which I have had happen to me in my lifetime.
Yeah, or lose a digit. Nobody wants to lose digits. Got to keep those fingers and toes.
No. Oh, dude, did you see that Facebook video I sent to you?
Yes, I did see that Facebook video. What was that, in Texas or something?
Yeah, it was in Texas. That's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It was like a freaking bomb went off. Anyways, to sum up the video, basically there's some guys lighting off just like normal, like not sparklers, but fountains, I guess they're called. And someone knocks over the fountain and the thing shoots into the rest of their fireworks, which coincidentally is right next to their car. And it blows up like a goddamn bomb. And you just don't even see anybody anymore. And I said it to my mom. I was like, America, F yeah. That's what I said to my mom. And she's like, did everybody die? I don't see anybody in that video. I'm like, no, they ran for their lives.
Yeah, dude, they totally all ran away. I mean, everybody would be, man. That's crazy.
Oh, dude, that shit was hilarious. But I don't know. It's just one of those viral videos, man, that goes around this time of year. It was fun. So anyways, Mike, why don't you give us the rundown for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, a.k.a. Indiana Jones numero 5?
All right, Matt. So this movie was directed by James Mangold. It was written by Jez Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, David Coip, James Mangold, and it's based on characters by George Lucas and Philip Kaufman. This movie is starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, Karen Allen, John Rhys-Davies, Shawnette Renee Wilson, Toby Jones, Mads Mikkelsen. And this movie is about our archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time to retrieve a legendary artifact that can change the course of history.
Okay, Mike, so you read just about like everybody of those in this movie. So, but anyways, we'll just roll right into it. What are your first impressions of the movie that didn't need to be made?
So I was pleasantly surprised that it was okay. But to me, it was just okay. And it clearly was not a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is that James Mangold, he has a lot of great films to his name to date. And I would have felt like shit stepping into Steven Spielberg's shoes, because even though we all hated Crystal Skull with a passion, that still was directed by Steven Spielberg. James Mangold is known for Ford versus Ferrari. He's known for Logan, and he's known for Walk the Line. All very, very good movies. And so we had a good director directing this, but this movie it was mediocre at best. It was way better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That thing was a piece of hot trash. I still feel, and Mike, I might, upset you with this, but I still feel there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. but this is more of like an Indiana Jones adventure for me. I know it's tied to the other ones, but I really don't want it to be. I want it to be kind of its own thing.
For this movie, I thought it was okay. It's just kind of a popcorn flick. Like it had characters that were from Indiana Jones, and I like seeing some of the characters again. But was this the send off that I think if we needed to make this movie, which I guess clearly we did, I feel like we should have sent off Indiana Jones or done a little bit better. But it was an okay movie. It was an Indiana Jones movie, but it just wasn't a Steven Spielberg movie. And what I mean by that really is Steven Spielberg just has a way about just getting into the characters, and the character development that he does is just so much better. And in this movie, it was just like there was just some characters that are kind of thrown in. There's not a lot of explanation. I don't know, man. Like some of the old characters are fine. You don't need to explain that much, but to me, it just didn't have that extra stuff that makes Steven Spielberg movies so magical.
Well, I will say this. The first 25 minutes of the film feels like an Indiana Jones film, feels like an adventure. It's exactly what I wanted. It's what I expected. The next 2 hours, which is way too long, did not feel like an Indiana Jones film to me. Even with the de-aging of the first 25 minutes, which everybody knows it's there, so it's not a spoiler, I still enjoyed it very much. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun, but it's just build up for the rest of the story. There are a couple action sequences I really did enjoy and I thought were a lot of fun, and we'll get into those later. But I'll try not to spoil it too much because we're not to that section. But honestly, this movie, if Indiana Jones was not in it, it wouldn't make any difference. It still would have gone through the way it went through.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty accurate statement, man.
He has no character arc, like, whatsoever. Like, he could have been sitting in his apartment this entire time and this movie still would have played out.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, it's just an okay movie. Would I recommend to go see it in the theater? I would just say, if you want to go see a popcorn flick, I wouldn't really call it an Indiana Jones movie. I mean, it's kind of, it's got some adventure and some fantasy stuff, and the plot's okay, but I don't know. It just didn't have it all there, man. I know this movie's been kind of in like purgatory for a long time. Like they've been trying to make this movie. Like, I don't know. It took like, what did they announce this? Like 2016 or 2015? Like there was a release date or something. And then it's been like the pandemic and all this other stuff. And I don't know. And Harrison Ford, I mean, he did a great job for, he's about to be 81. So, wow.
Yeah, dude, he's my mom's age. He's Ma Hinshaw's age. Oops, now I'm going to get hit for that.
Yeah, so he was 79 when he filmed this.
Well, he looks like a spry 79-year-old when he was filming it. That's definitely for sure. But I don't know. I'm really trying not to spoil the movie too much, but I would argue against you on this fact. I think people should go see this in the theaters, but only if they really want to see this movie. If they don't have any interest in seeing Indiana Jones on screen again, especially an 80-year-old Indiana Jones, then don't go see it. But I think we need to support our movies, theaters, not just movies, movie theaters. This one is probably going to be better on the big screen than it will be on the small screen just because of the action sequences and the set pieces. But as a movie as a whole, if you're on the fence, so should I go see Indiana Jones? Should I not? I'd say stay home. But I would just go to, if you like the action, because I was going to go see it pretty much no matter what. Even if we weren't reviewing it, even if it was dog shit, I still was going to go see it because it's Indiana Jones and it's Harrison Ford. I'm sorry, I'm going to go. And Mads Mikkelsen. I love Mads Mikkelsen. He's a freaking awesome villain. He always is. Antonio Banderas, that was a shocker. I didn't even know he was in this movie. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in this movie either. I was like, oh, there's Antonio Banderas. Weird.
Yeah, and he plays your boy, and you can barely recognize him at first, and then, they get out and he starts talking on the ship and stuff, and you're like, oh, fuck, it's Antonio Banderas, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. So, Matt recommends you go see it, and I don't know, kind of against it in the theaters. Anyway, Matt, let's see. What else should we address with this? So I thought the de-aging looked pretty darn good, dude. So I don't know, like compared to the last movie, what was that last movie we had about a bunch of de-aging? Was it The Irishman, the Netflix movie with...
Yeah, that had a lot of de-aging. That's several years old now, but yeah, no, the de-aging was good, except for there was a couple times where he like moves real fast and looks really bad. But the one that really screwed it up for me, and there's nothing you can really do about this, is when he opened his mouth, because he doesn't sound like a 40 or 50-year-old Indiana Jones. He sounds like an 80-year-old Indiana Jones, and it just did not match up. It just didn't register right.
Do you think they should have de-aged his voice, which they totally could have done with the amount of recordings and stuff I think they have of him?
Or Chat GPT?
Well, yeah, of course. You always get Chat GPT involved, but it's like, do you consult the other AIs?
Yes, definitely, Mike. I think so. I think it would have helped. It would have helped. But no, it looks really good. And just to show you, I've watched some things about this coming down the road in the future. Hollywood is toying with the idea of paying actors for their rights to their likenesses and their voices and just doing AI-generated actors of big names well past their deaths. And I don't know if it'll ever take off or people will push against it, but that's one thing that Hollywood is thinking about and talking about. Because who wouldn't like to go watch Harrison Ford in 20 or 30 years when he's no longer with us in another Indiana Jones adventure, but it's more like a real adventure? I'm down for it.
I don't know, man. Definitely it's an interesting question. I have no idea what the answer is. But I for sure would like to see some of the actors that have already left this world continue on. So I don't know, man. It's a weird one. That's a weird one, and I'm sure the actors and the agents and everybody representing will be trying to figure out how do they turn this into a financial gain for them, but also do they want to do it? Like, do you want to live on forever, kind of? Like in a weird way, or be able to live on like virtually forever.
It's the fountain of youth, man. They found it finally in Hollywood.
They found it. Generative AI, everybody. ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's not Casa Bonita in Colorado. It is AI from Hollywood in film.
Wait, but Casa Bonita, man. I heard the latest controversy is they're paying their people too much money.
Yeah, they're paying their staff a living wage so that nobody has to tip. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. We should boycott it.
All right. Well, then I need to go. And so I can go and just stand outside and be like, I will not be eating these delicious tacos or jumping off of the fountain into the pool below.
All right. Well, you heard it here. Mateo speaks.
Hell no, dude. I'm going to go to that shit. I want to support South Park just as long as they come back and give us more seasons. We need a new season. It's been a while.
I think they got one coming, right, man? It's coming up. Usually they start around like fall, right? Like so Labor Day is coming up like September.
I've heard. I don't know, man. I haven't seen any drops or anything. I'll have to Google it, but
all right, Matt. So I think it's time for me to ask you, what are you drinking this fine morning?
Fine morning. Wow, I was waiting for two more. Holy hell, that cut me off guard.
Yeah, I know it would. That's why I did it.
Thank you for asking, kind sir. I'm not drinking anything fancy, just your typical good old-fashioned Miller Lite.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've got my session IPA from Aldi. It's called Hoppy Nomad.
Hoppy Nomad. Is that different than a regular Nomad?
It's just hoppier.
Do they have a regular Nomad?
Not that I'm aware of, but it doesn't mean that they don't have one. They don't. I know you're not really familiar with Aldi, but they don't tend to carry very much stuff. So like your choice of things is like if there's an IPA, there's like one. If there's like a Bock beer, there's one. If there's like a summer beer, there's just one. So like they only have one of like everything.
Is the Aldi have their own IPA and it's just like Aldi IPA?
No, no, it is the Aldi IPA, but it's somebody else brews it for them. It's like all contract brewing.
Yeah, but what's the name of it? It's the beer you have now?
Yeah, well they have two IPAs. One's a session IPA. It's called Hoppy Nomad, and I forget what the other one's called.
So it's a beer made by Aldi. It's not like the warehouse special.
No, it's not the warehouse special. It's commissioned by Aldi. Yeah.
Do you think it was a difficult discussion to have IPAs put in a German-based store?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they carry all kinds of crazy stuff that I'm sure if the Germans were over here, they'd be like, what? So I think they just adapt the store to the market, like their area and everything.
So you don't think that the Germans are like, no, you must only serve our beer from Austria?
No. I think they're okay with it as long as the money keeps coming in.
Have you ever seen Bud Light there?
No, they don't have any name brands of
anything.
For beer, they all make their own, and for wines, they have their own stuff as well. So like they just don't have anything else.
Well, all right, that was a lot of questions that were just wasting time. So I apologize for that, Mike. But I'm just curious, since I don't have an Aldi here in Prescott, the nearest one I think is in Goodyear. I'll go there one of these days. I swear to God I will. But anyways, Mike, most important question for you. What is this week's amazing dad joke? And it better be freaking patriotic.
I got dad jokes. I don't think they understand though. Gotta think I'm funny. Other people never laugh though. Dad jokes.
Well, I don't really have a patriotic one, man, but this one's timely. How does the moon cut his hair?
How does the moon cut his hair? I've never seen hair on the moon.
He eclipses it.
Oh my God. That's totally yours. That's one of yours. That's like a NASA thing.
Yeah, but the moon, is full tonight, so.
Is it a full moon tonight? I know it was pretty full last night. And it's what, supermoon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a supermoon or whatever.
So, what I consider a supermoon is when I'm driving by mooning someone and I get both pressed hams against the window, not just one. That's a supermoon.
Well, all right. I haven't heard about that any. I mean, wow. Do people even do that anymore, man? I don't know.
I sure as hell do. Wait, no, I don't.
All right.
Yeah, I'm the moon realtor. That would not go well.
All right. Well, okay, man. Are you ready for me to talk about my next part?
Yeah, you want me to ask the next question so we can move along so you can go to bed because you're old?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it. So, Mike, how does Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
All right, Matt. This one is interesting because there's quite a few movies that tie back into the MCU. We actually have Mr. Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in Captain America Brave New World, but that hasn't come out yet. Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius in Doctor Strange. Toby Jones as Armin Zola in Captain America the First Avenger. Thomas Kretschmann in Avengers Age of Ultron. And Oliver Rikers as Ursa in Black Widow, and Shawnette Renee Wilson as Dory Milji in Black Panther.
Antonio Banderas hasn't been in the MCU yet?
No, man. No.
Well, they'll need to work on that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in. Come on, man. We're running out of people.
We are. I mean, you only named off like 10. And yeah, I don't think Harrison Ford counts because the movie's not out yet. And we talked about that, a couple weeks ago, because I was completely lost that What's-His-Face had passed away.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a good actor, too. And I can't remember his name, and I'm not going to look it up. I say this every single time. I will make noise with my keyboard, so I'm not going to look it up. One day, when I don't want a really badass keyboard, I'll get a cheap, shitty one that doesn't make any noise. But I love my keyboard. It's very loud, and it's very clicky, and it's big, and it's like an old school typewriter. I freaking love it.
Okay. All right.
Well, you know
Very
what
cool,
keyboard
man.
I have. It was featured in Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
It's a Razer. Yep. That's not the model. That's the manufacturer's Razer, but anyways. Okay. All right. We are now in the spoiler section, Miguelito. I'll let you go first. What do you want to spoil? I mean, one thing I wanted to hit on was Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So I don't like her so much as an action star. Did you ever watch her show on Amazon?
Was it Fleabags or
Yes,
whatever?
Fleabag.
I didn't get to see it, but I am aware that she's from that.
So I've watched it all. It's very funny. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. She wrote, I don't know if she directed it, but she wrote and stars in it. And it's, kind of ridiculous, kind of awful, all kind of rolled into one. It's decent. It's a fun watch. It's interesting. So seeing her try to be an action star, not really my forte, but I have to say, they did something with her that I was very happy about. They did not try to make her Indiana Jones. Like they tried to she was her own character. She was not trying to be Indiana Jones. She was not running around with a whip. She was not trying to imitate him, much like the Shia LaBeouf in freaking Crystal Skull. She was her own person, and they tried to keep it that way. And I applaud them for that. I think they should have done a different actress in the role, but I'm glad it wasn't like goddaughter Indiana Jones. No, she was very different than Indiana, and I like that.
Yeah, she did have her own way of doing things, and Indy definitely didn't approve often, but that's fine because it was her own. She was making her way, doing stuff, how she does it.
Yeah, they were really trying not to make her seem like, oh, this is going to be the person leading the franchise like Steven Spielberg did in the last one, where they were like, oh, hinting at Shia LaBeouf was going to be the new Indiana Jones. And that worked out fucking great, didn't it? Anyways, I'm okay with it. The one gripe I do have was the new Short Round. He had no point in being in this movie other than the very end where he has the airplane. And how the fuck did a kid learn how to fly an airplane at this time period and never flew one before and he's perfectly fine? Yeah, I fucking believe that. Kiss my ass.
Well, Matt, you can just make believe sometimes in the movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking make believe in this one. And there were some member berries too.
Yeah. Did you see some member berries?
Oh yeah, dude. You know the whole scene when they're walking through and there's bugs all over the wall?
Yeah.
Remember when that was in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom?
Oh, okay.
Member berry. See?
Yeah. All right. Do you see any other ones, dude? I think there's quite a few things. I was trying to look for stuff, but
there are. There's more, but that's probably one of the biggest ones. One that I liked, I didn't hit on, I teased it a little bit earlier, but one of the action scenes I really liked, I thought was really fun and inventive, and probably everybody's going to think it's dumb and stupid and silly, but the tuk-tuk chase. I thought that shit was hilarious and just so much fun.
Dude, it was cool, man. The tuk-tuk, it was neat.
Yeah, that I've never seen a chase with a tuk-tuk chasing a car, and I thought it worked out really well. I mean, it was just goofy and silly, and how easily they were to get in and out and to the front and the back, and how it broke and they fix it with I just liked it. It was a lot of fun. I really did. That felt like Indiana Jones. Actually, it didn't feel like Indiana Jones. It was like ghetto Fast and Furious, but it was still fun.
Well, I don't know. I like the funness. The scene really worked.
It did.
It was yeah. That was a good one. I don't know. There's some fantastical stuff towards the end. You're like, what in the world is going on? But I just make believe. You got to, right.
Well, at least it's not as bad as Crystal Skull. I mean, there's a lot of the time travel fantastical. Oh, this is this, and this was meant to happen, and all that kind of shit, which is fine. It is what it is. What it is. But at least it wasn't as bad as Crystal Skull. That shit was fucking horrible, man. That shit was absolutely ridiculous. The cliches and all the shit in there. No, I thought this was a better film than that. It still does not touch the original 3. But I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. I didn't have a great time. It's way too long, dude. They needed to trim some fucking fat on this. Big time.
It is pretty long. And they could have cut some things, dude. I don't know. I did like the opening sequence in this movie. I thought that was very Indiana Jones, on the train and all that, and the having Mads as the bad guy. He's a great bad guy, and he was great in this movie. So I don't know. Like there were aspects in the movie that were pretty good. It was just I don't know. I just didn't feel like some of the stuff was as good as it could have been.
Yeah, no, definitely. There is a lot of room for improvement. But what we got was at least better than I anticipated. I will phrase it that way. I don't love this movie, but it was a lot better than I thought. I thought it was going to be just absolute shit. And I don't feel like I wasted the money going to the theater to watch it. Harrison Ford he's got it. Mad Milkinson, obviously, he's fucking fantastic. Antonio Banderas was great. I mean, did you love that scuba diving section, Mike? I mean, I know that's what you like to do for a hobby. You used to like it. I don't know about now. It's been years, but.
Yeah, dude. I thought it was pretty cool. It was a little ridiculous, but I mean, of course it would be. But yeah, no, it was. I like that. That was cool.
Well, there's another member, Barry, because Antonio Banderas even said it. He's like, oh yeah, the eels, they're the snakes of the ocean or whatever. And then they're having that scene, and something breaks open, and they're trying to get whatever, and there's just fucking eels everywhere. And of course, Indiana Jones loses his shit like they're snakes. So there's another member, Barry. Remember all the snakes and how much he hates them.
Yeah. No, it was all right. There's another member, Barry. Good job, man. Good job.
You're welcome, Mike. I got you. I thought it was interesting, but they didn't explain a whole lot. The CIA connection. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, man. It was just I don't know. It was weird.
They have some chick from the CIA that's there observing and watching and keeping track on things, and then you find out that the people she's running around with are not CIA. They're Mad Milkinson's private security, hired goons, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them. And then she just kind of fizzles away, and she's like not in the movie anymore. And it's like, what the fuck happened to the CIA person?
Yeah, I don't know. I think something went wrong with either editing or I don't know. Something weird happened there, dude. You're right.
Yeah,
that was
just
weird.
Disappears, and she had an interesting character. I think she was there to try and keep tabs on the German/Nazi scientist that was clearly running amok, and then he starts really running amok, and she's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Matt, I do have a question for you. Why do you think Steven Spielberg didn't direct this one?
Beside the obvious of him, not really wanting to work a whole lot, I think he didn't want to be associated with it after the flop of the last one. I think he took it very personally. I think that's one of the reasons why we got his latest film based around his life is I think he took how hard the Crystal Skull was just obliterated by fans and critics. I think he took it very much to heart because he loves Indiana Jones. It's just me, theorizing. And I think he's like, well, nope, I'm done. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm just going to walk away. And yeah, which gave us The Fabelmans, which is a fantastic film. I think it was a part of it. And it's he's not doing a whole lot to begin with anyways, just because he's older and he wants to be retired, so might as well enjoy your golden years. Why get into it again on a big, massive franchise like this?
Yeah. From some of the stuff I was looking up, Matt, it looks like essentially that he wanted to pass the franchise on to a new generation to bring a fresh perspective to the story. But you read between the lines a little bit, and that's exactly what you're saying, man. He was probably pretty hurt about how it wasn't well received, and like you said, he's getting older, and he probably just wants to do something else. I mean, but John Williams said he was retired, and who did the score again?
Yeah, but that's one thing that's sad. The score for John Williams in this, it's not really there much. I mean, it's there, but it's not. It's not like a character like it's been in all of John Williams' other films. Like the score really adds a lot. It was just kind of there, and you hardly even notice it in this movie, which I think is all thanks to the director and editing. What do you think?
What
do you think about John Williams' score in this film? Because he's one of the best parts that should have been in it, and not.
I
not
think
really.
it was minimally used. I think I think there were some times where it was executed very well, but other times it was not. And I don't know, man. It's when you have access to John Williams, I feel like you need to use whatever he gives you.
That's true, and I don't think they did. I think there's too much editing, too much of a heavy hand. Maybe it was even from the studio. It might even not have been from the director, but dude, John Williams is iconic, just like Steven Spielberg, just like Harrison Ford. I mean, seriously, like, I don't blame him for being butthurt after Crystal Skull. I mean, that movie was shit, but he made the original Indiana Jones trilogy with George, and they are some of the best movies ever made, period. Hands down. They're fucking phenomenal. You can go watch them on Disney Plus if you want right now. They're just fantastic. But I think he's just, if it's not going to be like those, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah. And then I think with delays, and he probably has, he has stuff going on as well. So it's like the amount of effort you have to spend to get the movie going and everything. So I don't know. I think that's all accurate. So, Matt, I think we've kind of touched on just about everything. Should I go ahead and ask you what your reels are going to be?
Oh, you don't have to ask. You can just ask. You don't need to be questioning it. Just be like, hey, motherfucker, what do you rate this fucking film?
Yeah.
Get confident. All right. You can do it, Mike.
Those words, go.
Those words, go. All right. Mike, I give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny probably a little higher than it should be, but it was adequate. I give it 2.5.
Okay, all right. Well, this is interesting because I'm gonna give it a 3 reels out of 5. But to me, it was just a very popcorn, mediocre movie. Like, you didn't even need the title Indiana Jones in it, and like you said, Matt, the character wasn't even really needed. So I don't know.
Well, okay. I can argue and show you why he's not even needed in this film. So you have the intro. Take that out. That's just telling you where the Dial of Destiny is coming from. She literally shows up in his classroom where he's just barely hanging on, and you find out that, oh, here's the Dial of Destiny, and he has no arc. Like, Marion comes back. He's just kind of along for the ride. She does Phoebe Waller-Bridge does like everything. I wish the Marion would have been in it a lot more. That would have been nice. But, she's getting older too. One thing, I'm glad they touched on it, but I don't really care because it was Crystal Skull. They explained what happened to Shia LaBeouf. He was killed in Vietnam, which is interesting. That's what caused the divorce and why Marion not to be there. But it's a broken down, upset, lethargic, coming to an end of his life Indiana Jones. And that's kind of depressing because at Crystal Skull, sure, that movie was shit. At the end, at least we get like this happy ending, like Indiana Jones and Marion finally got married and Shia LaBeouf, and you get the Steven Spielberg happy ending. And then this is just like, oh man, what a fucking bummer. But to the point, basically you could take Indiana Jones out and everything still would have happened. Like the only thing he did was provide the Dial of Destiny. There's no arc. There's no nothing. He's still in a fucking apartment by himself at the end of the movie. Well, Marion's back, we assume.
Yeah, but just to help him for a little bit. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just, okay, great. Another adventure, Indiana Jones recliner.
Yeah. That's why I was a little disappointed in the way that it kind of ends, because it's like it's not a great send-off, and there's not going to be anymore.
Oh, no, dude, it's a shit ending. It's not good at all. But, hey, that's the director chose to do that, whatever. So, all right, Mike, well, why don't you tell our listeners about the film we're going to watch and review for next podcast?
All right. Well, we're going to watch this movie called Joyride.
Do you know what's really nice about Joyride 2, Mike? Is that it's only an hour and 35 minutes. It's a full fucking hour less than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, wow. All right.
So I'm okay with it.
All right, and this is follows four Asian American friends as they bond and discover the truth of what it means to know and love who you are while they travel through Asia in search of their birth mothers.
Honestly, dude, I've watched the trailers for this. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be raunchy. It's going to be over the top. It's going to be drug-induced, sex-induced. It's going to be a fucking ridiculous film. It's going to be a fun comedy. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, no, I think it, dude, I don't know what it's gonna be like, but it did look like it's gonna be entertaining, so it'll be fun to watch.
Dude, the trailers look fucking ridiculous, especially the Red Band trailers.
I don't know if I saw the Red Band trailer,
really?
Matt, but I'm gonna go see the movie in a couple days. So,
well, go watch the Red Band trailer. I guess they don't do it at your theater. At my theater at Harkins here, it's really interesting. A lot of the R-rated movies, they'll run the Red Band trailer. So they'll do like the normal trailers, and they'll do the Harkins logo with the plane flying and all this other shit. And then all of a sudden you'll see another trailer, and it's a Red Band trailer, and you're like, oh yeah. And then the movie will start after the one or two Red Band trailers. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
I like it. So, all right. Well, there you go, folks. Next week, Joyride. We're going to go see it in the theaters. Comes out Thursday. Indiana Jones. I rated it lower than Mike, which I am fucking surprised because you really didn't seem like you thought it was great, and I went lower than you.
Yeah. Well, we're back to our old ways, Matt. I sell it as worse, and you rate it worse.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But wait till we get Ma Hinshaw on here after this pod, on her pod. Her rating is fucking ridiculous. I'm not going to spoil it because I already heard it on the radio, but she is very wrong. That's all I'm going to put.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess with all that, I'll thanks. I'll get everybody out of here. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and the Book of Face, or Meta, and we'll catch you on our next pod. Joyride. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.
Welcome, everyone, to Ma Hinshaw Loses Her Cookies, episode number 20. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. It is the fifth movie of Indiana Jones, I believe. Yes. Hi, Matthew. How are you today?
Well, everyone, as you can tell, my mother has been drinking already. It is now July 4th. We're recording this at 9 a.m. and my mom's already shit-faced.
Wait a minute. It's not 9 a.m.
She has tossed her cookies and she's soon getting ready to lose them in the toilet.
Oh, I don't do that. No.
She was talking about burping up hot dogs and corn dogs earlier.
Yes, but I didn't have a margarita to go with it, so no, darn it. Oh well.
Well, we
I
all
had
know
one
that
this morning.
you drink mimosas in the morning, not breakfast margaritas. Although you have had a breakfast margarita.
I had a breakfast margarita because it's $1.99 one day a week, though.
She doesn't need excuses to drink, folks. She just likes it.
Oh, it's so tasty. I need to get my lime juice some way.
If only Lisa truly knew the nature of Ma Hinshaw, she would never be on the show. We're not allowed to talk about Ma Hinshaw's drinking problems on the show because we make too much jokes about drinking as it is, and she gets angry, or her listeners get angry. I don't know, one of the two. So, anyways, speaking of angry, Ma, why the hell did you give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny such a high rating on the radio? This movie is trash. I have seen more entertaining films of ants walking across logs.
No. This was entertaining. I thought it was a good movie. I'm not saying earth-shaking, but it was very entertaining. And
Ma, your rating is earth-shaking rating. So why did you give it an earth-shaking rating, which we haven't gotten to yet, unless you listen to the radio program. But please tell me why this is not a hot slice of garbage.
All righty. I think it was awesome because it starts out and you know that Indiana retires from his teaching job and searching for artifacts, etc.
Okay, so that's not how the movie starts out, but okay.
No, but it does. Well, it gets there. But anyway, and he goes back to his drab little apartment with, laundry and dirty dishes and everything. And it's kind of, which is how people feel when they retire. Ask me how I know. Anyway.
Bullshit. You don't live in a drab little apartment on a 17th floor in New York. You live in a mansion with a pool.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So boo fucking who.
But anyway, yeah, he's retired and ho-hum, what am I going to do,
He's not retired. He's not retired at all.
He did to retire.
No, he was still teaching classes. He was getting ready to retire.
Well, yeah, but he was getting ready and he knew he was going to be retired.
But the scene that you're talking about happened before he announced he was retiring.
Oh, Lord. All right, whatever.
Again, folks, I'm doing the best I can. Ma Hinshaw is drunk.
No, I'm not. But anyway, I know, they go back in time to when they get the
That is now the very end of the frickin' movie.
What's at the end?
When they go back in time.
They go back in time at the beginning, too.
Correct. The first 25 minutes of the movie is the not going back in time. That is telling you the story of where the Dial of Destiny came from.
Yeah, well, true.
You're getting it all out of whack. It opens. The movie opens that way.
Yes, it does. And
so then how do they go back in time?
Well, I thought they went back in time because,
They do, but that's at the end. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, foo. Anyway. Yeah, and how in the world his dad kept his balance on top of a train is beyond me. Good for him.
Mom, Indiana Jones's dad is not in this movie.
I thought that James played his dad. He didn't?
James who?
James Mc whatever his name is.
There's Mads Mikkelsen. He is Dr. Voller. Who is James?
Oh. Wait, wrong person then. I Googled the wrong person. Oh, well, I don't care.
There's only one actor that has ever played senior Indiana Jones. That is Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, and he's dead. And they're not going to dig him up. Okay. Anyway, shoot. All right, so, and the first, okay, here's my view.
So far, your arguments about this being a wonderful movie has turned into you thinking it's something that's very different, and it's not.
Hey,
the director of the film is James Mangold. Is that who you're talking about? Because he's not in the movie.
He's not in the movie. Oh, oops.
He directs the movie. He is the director.
Oh, okay. Well, rats. They got it confused. Anyhow. No, but the first part, with the train and how they got the dial and everything, and the train crash and the dial going into the water was very cool. I thought that was good, okay?
Again, your arguments of why it's a good movie is pointing out scenes and relaying what the scenes are. You're not arguing why it's good.
Well, why isn't that good? It was very interesting. It was exciting to watch them on top of the train and running away from the German folk and everything.
Yes,
that
Mom,
was fun.
They're called Nazis. They were Nazis in that film.
Well, okay, Nazis.
They were not German folk. Yes, Nazis in this film are German, but there are Nazis that are also not German, and there are Germans that are also not Nazis.
Okay. All righty.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Anyway,
okay. So if you paid attention to the radio when I talked on Thursday, Friday.
I never heard you because my phone did something weird. Okay.
Well, you need a new phone because it's all blame everything on your damn phone.
No.
Your phone is not affecting your memory. Maybe it is. Maybe that's where the aliens are coming in.
That's it.
Or is it the microchips from the vaccine? It's one of them.
Hey, quit it.
Maybe it's both. The aliens in your phone and the microchips in your blood from the vaccine. Good God.
Gee.
Anyways,
well,
okay.
Anyhow.
Ma, the first 25 minutes of this film is very different than the next 2 hours. The first 25 minutes is like old Indiana Jones.
Right.
The de-aging looks okay, but it's not great. The bulk of the film, the 2 hours of the film, tell me why that's a good film. Because 25 minutes of a movie that is really good does not make a 2.5 hour long movie a good movie.
Oh, come on. When Phoebe, or Helen, if you want to call her, when she comes, and snitches the dial, and then she goes off and
so your argument for it being a good movie is you just reciting what the movie is.
No, but I mean, I like the plot was interesting.
How?
It wasn't dull. I thought it was interesting. And then they go to Morocco where she's, auctioning it off or whatever. And the Moroccan, it's beautiful. It really captures the feelings of Morocco. And
how many times have you been to Morocco?
None, but I watched Casablanca.
Okay, so it captures the feelings of Morocco, even though you've never been there.
No, well, I'm sure it does.
I mean, Mom, I hate to destroy your argument that this is a good movie, but all you're doing is sitting here telling us the movie. You're not saying why the plot is good. You're not saying why the acting was good. You're not saying if the sets were good. You're not saying how John Williams' score was. None of that. You're just telling us how the movie is.
Well, I'm telling you what I liked about the movie.
No, you're telling us what the movie is. You're not telling us what you like.
Well, I liked, the photography and the colors of Morocco and being in the streets of Morocco. and the people. And
Okay, so you like the opening 25 minutes, and you like the
Yeah.
15 minutes in Morocco. So
Oh,
we're up to
fiddle.
40 minutes now.
And I also liked where Anthony Banderas was the captain of the ship, and they go to get the other part of the dial, and they go deep sea diving, and the eels were terribly exciting. I thought that was really cool. Gave me the creeps, and I liked that because it kind of reminded me of the other Indiana Joneses.
Great.
I
So
thought
there you
that
go.
was
Now
very
we're
good.
getting somewhere. You like this
We are.
movie because it reminds you of the good Indiana Jones movies.
Well, no, just it
Yes,
reminds me of the
that's
old
what you
one.
literally just said.
Well, oh, all right. It had that scary moment. It also had the scary moment where the bugs come down out of the
Exactly, and that's
wall.
Temple of Doom. So in other words, remember when you watched Temple of Doom and how much you like Temple of Doom? Look, bugs. It doesn't mean it's a good movie.
And it didn't have any mice. That's good. Or rats or whatever they were.
Well, I'm
That
sorry,
was-
Mom. Maybe that was in a scene they cut out.
Number 3. Oh, they could have. But anyway, no. And I thought it was, the only thing was the young boy that was Phoebe's, well, she kind of took him under her wing or whatever. And he
You
added
mean-
some really funny lines, but what?
You mean the young child that is the modern short round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which does not explain where the kid came from, why he was part of this film, why he matters, none of that. He's clearly in the film for one thing and one thing only, to fly an airplane, even though he's never flown an airplane.
Hey, he drove one of those, they look like golf carts, sort of. I can't
The
think of the
tuk-tuks?
name of them. Yeah, the tuk-tuks. He drove one of those, too.
But so did Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and so did Harrison Ford.
Well, I know they did, but I'm just saying he did that, which really he shouldn't have done because he's too young.
Well,
But
at
it's
least
Morocco.
at least that's believable. I could believe a young kid knowing how to do that. I don't believe a child being able to fly an airplane that's never flown one.
I agree. That is why I gave it 4.5 instead of 5. Okay.
So
Yes.
there you go. You didn't even let me get to the point where I could ask you what your rating was. But there, my mom gave this piece of crap 4.5 out of 5 cookies. 4.5.
Oh, come on. That's all right. It was interesting. I never fell asleep. My grandson didn't fall asleep. Well, he may have once, but I don't think he fell asleep. Yes, it was a bit too long, kind of,
So,
but I thought
this
it was
movie,
good.
This movie is on the level of things like Shawshank Redemption
Well, I won't go that far.
and Star Wars, the original, and Casablanca, and Gone
Oh,
with the
come
Wind.
on. No,
This
that's
is
not
on
fair.
that level.
Well, I thought it was good. And I thought it was good because us old people that have seen Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3 and everything, we're old now. And I think we thought it was really cool that Harrison could still do this, do this movie. And,
Except for he didn't do much.
well,
If
I
you
know
look, Mom, you see a lot of his back.
yeah, because it was somebody else, I'm sure.
Right.
But, and it was something that, kids could go with their grandpas and grandmas and watch it and say, oh, gee, look at that old man. He's riding a horse, or whatever.
Except for
But
it wasn't an old man riding a horse.
I know it was whoever
So
it
it's
was.
instilling a false sense of adventure and ability for a young child of what their grandpa can do.
Well, yeah, but maybe they think, hey, wait just a minute. Now that there are old grandpas that can still ride horses. We
Okay.
see them here in town.
I would love to watch you go ride a horse. You're the same
Well,
age as
not
Harrison
me.
Ford.
Well, not me. I have
Okay.
arthritis.
See?
Well, you're not fair now. Cut that out. I'm bet
You
there's
just don't
still...
like that I'm winning, that I'm destroying
you're
your
not
argument
winning.
on it being a good movie. This movie was not good.
It was fine. It had scary parts in it.
Yes, it was fine. It was average. It is not good.
Oh, poo. So next time I have to grade it down to a 3.5. Correct.
No, you gave your rating as 4.5. That's what it is. I can't change your mind. You said this movie is incredible. 4.5 is incredible.
I liked it very much, and I liked the end. I thought it was good. I'm glad I was so worried he was going to die. Ooh, but he didn't.
Okay. So here's my mom's argument, because this argument between us has been going on for over a day now. It's been going on for about 2 days, I think, because I've been trying to get her to do the podcast for a bit. And I told her to even think about this. Do you know the one thing my mom said that why this movie is a 4.5? Go ahead, say it, Mom.
Go
on.
No, I can't say it because you'll get mad at me. Okay.
No, say it.
No, I'm not saying it.
Say it.
No.
Okay. She said the only reason this movie is a 4.5 is because it's fun.
Well, I know, and you don't like to hear me say it's fun, but it was fun to me.
I don't have a problem with it being fun. I thought it was a fun movie, but fun movies are not masterpieces. A 4.5 is a masterpiece of a film.
It is, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Mom, the scale goes to 5. The scale goes to 5. 5 is a movie that everyone must see in their lifetime.
Oh, well, maybe I should have done that then. Okay.
Well, think about it. It goes to 5. You gave it 4.5. You gave it half a point lower than the best movies in the world. And you're saying this movie is that good.
Well, I shouldn't. No, probably not. But I did like the end.
It's too late now. You already did. You're crazy.
Okay, write that up.
Mike and I listen to the podcast. When this is up, listen to Mike and I talk about it. Mike enjoyed this movie. Mike gave this movie a higher rating than me, but he still does not say it's a good movie.
Yeah, but the higher rating than you, it would be a 3.
Yes. He did give it a 3.
Oh, my goodness.
And what is a 3 on the scale? The 3 is average.
Yeah, average. Okay.
And it is a fun, average film. It is nothing special. It is not Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is not Temple of Doom. It is not Last Crusade. Those are masterpieces. Other movies that this director has done, I would put in the level of masterpiece. James Mangold directed Ford versus Ferrari. That movie is a masterpiece. That movie is fantastic. I think I gave that a 4 or a 4.5. I don't remember. That is a fucking masterpiece. This is not. James Mangold did a good job with what he was given, but he came in and put a bunch of pieces together to try and make an Indiana Jones movie and make everybody happy.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I'm not blaming the director. He had to step in the shoes of Steven Spielberg, who his last Indiana Jones movie ever took a giant fucking shit. And he really was hurt about it. And it gave us, if you listen to the podcast before this one, it gave us The Fabelmans, because Spielberg looked inside, because he was really hurt. He thought Crystal Skull was a good movie, and it was not.
No, it wasn't. We watched it again, in fact, and no, that was not.
But that is a Spielberg movie.
Better than that.
Yes, this is a lot better than that, but it's still nowhere near the original trilogy.
No, that's true.
Again, not to keep harking on my podcast, but listen to it. If you're at this point, you didn't listen to the first part. You know, I put it out there. You know, I don't hate this movie. This movie is fine, but it is not the originals. I don't even think it should be called Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Maybe just call it the Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones Adventure or whatever, because it doesn't feel like Indiana Jones. You can take Indiana Jones out of this movie and you still have the same movie. You can take him completely out.
Oh, well, I don't think so. Oh, okay. Well, maybe, but I don't know if I agree with that. Indiana was still there. He was still in it.
Yes, he was there. But his character arc and his plot did nothing. Phoebe Waller-Bridge did it all.
She did a lot. Yeah, that's true.
You take him out. Okay, so she went and got a thing from him. So he could have been a side character.
Oh,
She's the one that went to Morocco. She's the one that was trying to sell it. She's the one that someone was coming after. Not Indiana. Nobody gave a shit about him. You see what I mean?
That is true. I didn't think about that one. No.
Yeah, there's no need for Indiana Jones in this movie.
No.
That's why it's called. That's why I don't think it should be called Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I think it should be called like the Dial of Destiny and Indiana Jones Adventure or something, because it's not an Indiana Jones movie. Yes, he's in there, but there's no satisfying arc. There's not even a send-off. Like, yeah, Crystal Skull was a piece of shit, but at least we got a nice send-off for Indiana Jones at the end of that. You know, he remarried Marion.
Right.
He reconnected with his son. He's in an apartment all by himself, wallowing in misery. No wife, no nothing. His son is dead. Spoilers, but his son is dead. He even says, "What am I here for?" I don't want to see my beloved Indiana fucking Jones doing that. Who wants to see that, Mom? That's depressing.
No, but at the end kind of fixes it, sort of.
No, it does not. The ending is one of the worst parts of this whole fucking movie.
I thought it was good.
She shows up, she gives him a hug, and he asks, are you going to be here for a while? Are you going to be here or whatever? And she says, for a while, and leave. And that's it.
Well,
there's no inclination they're getting back together, and she's staying there.
Oh,
she's just there to help him.
Well, yeah, but
how depressing is that?
Well, actually, I guess you're right. Didn't think about that. I thought she would stay,
Yeah, you're putting that in your head. That is not what she said.
Oh, that's not what she said. Right. Oh, well. All right. Erase my four.
No, you gave it 4.5 reels, and I just obliterated your whole rating. So,
well, thank you.
And you remember how I told you we were going to try and keep it to 10 or 15 minutes?
Correct.
You're not doing very good at that either.
Well, you blew it. Okay.
Well, I asked you to seriously think about this.
I did seriously think about it. You
why
shut down all my thinking.
Well, Mom, just reciting the story is not an argument of why it's a good film.
I thought it was interesting. It was fun.
See? There you go. She said it.
I said it. Oh,
Jesus.
Heaven. All right. Well.
So speaking about fun, next week we're going to go watch a movie called Joyride. I don't know if Ma Hinchaw's going to see it or not. She claims it's not out in the theaters on Thursday. I looked on your website. There's only 3 films in a 10-film theater. So I'm sure it will come out. You need to call and ask them. But we are going to go watch Joyride, which Joyride is a comedy. It's gross. It's over the top, raunchy humor, 4 women going back to, I want to say China, but I don't think they say China. They say Asia in the description. But they're going home basically looking for one of the girls' birth mothers. I think mother and father, maybe just birth mother. I don't know. I haven't watched the movie yet. But it looks fun. Seth Rogen put his seal of approval on it as a producer. So I think it's going to be cool. I think it'll be a fun little comedy. So you know what? It's a full hour shorter than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
So if it's a piece of crap, at least we only wasted an hour and a half. But I don't think it will be. The trailers look hilarious to me. I'm excited for it. This movie we can describe as fun, but that doesn't mean it's going to make it a great movie.
Oh, I won't give anything a 4 then. Okay.
No, you can give ratings all day long, Mom. It's what you're here for. Just be able to back it up. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Back it up.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, I need to let you go since we've been
Okay.
talking now for well over 25
Hours.
minutes.
Yep.
And you need to go watch fireworks and eat another hot dog and drink a red, white, and blue margarita.
There. Ooh, sounds fun. Okay. Bye.
So, anyways, okay, well, you jumped the gun on saying goodbye, but
Oh.
I will do my formal outro because, you know, Ma Hinshaw
Go for
is
it.
drunk again. But thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in and listening to me and my mom get into it. Don't worry, I'm not yelling at her. She wasn't yelling at me. We were just having a heated argument. And those of you who do not know us that well, this is just how it goes. We're not mad at each other. We're just being, I don't want to say argumentative. We're just debating. That's what it is. We're debating it. I guess I was being a little bit of a jerk, but anyways, I had fun.
A little.
Ma, did you have at least fun arguing with me?
Oh, absolutely, I did.
So
But
see,
I'm
there
still
you go.
right.
There you go. She just wants to hurry up and go get her hot dogs and hamburgers and, you know, margaritas. So anyways, thank you everybody for listening to Ma Hinshaw Loses Her Cookies, episode number 20. Next week, tune in, episode 21, Joyride.
Goodbye.